This video will guide you through performing service hour maintenance on the CAT utility vehicle through its first 1,000 hours. These service intervals apply to all 4 models in the CAT utility vehicle lineup. This video will cover the following. Take a minute to look at the video description below. Use the timestamps in the description to find the specific service jobs or information. Do not perform any lubrication, maintenance, or repair on CAT equipment until you have read and understand the operation and maintenance manual for the product. Information in this video complements, but does not replace, the detailed safety information featured in CAT operation and maintenance manuals and service manuals. Always remember to wear the appropriate personal protective equipment. Some important specifications are shown here for the gas models. And shown here for the diesel models. Shown here are some of the required tools for these service intervals. Allow proper time for the vehicle to cool off before checking the fluid levels. Details can be found in the operation and maintenance manual. Start by removing the hood at the front of the vehicle. Locate the coolant tank and brake fluid reservoir. Check to ensure coolant is at or above the cold fill line. Check the brake reservoir to ensure that brake fluid is between the minimum and maximum fill lines. Locate the engine and the oil dipstick on your vehicle. Shown here for the diesel models, and shown here for the gas models. Remove the dipstick and ensure that the oil level reads between the low and high indicators on the stick. Wipe the dipstick and replace in the vehicle. Check the front differential and rear transaxle fluid levels. Locate the front differential inspection plug, which can be found in the center of the vehicle behind the front left tire. Unscrew the plug. If the front differential is filled properly, there should be a small amount of oil that leaks from the plug hole. Next, locate the rear transaxle fill plug, which can be found in the center of the vehicle behind the back right tire. Remove the fill plug, then take a zip tie or something of similar size and material and bend the point to make an approximate 1/2 inch long hook. Place the hook of the zip tie inside the transaxle fill hole. Pull out the zip tie. If oil is present anywhere on the hook, then the transaxle fluid is at proper level. There are 4 grease points or zerks on the rear knuckles, 2 on each side. Clean any dirt or debris from the zerk before adding grease. Attach the grease gun to each zerk and give 2 to 3 pumps or until all trapped air or moisture is pushed out. These are the only grease points. Remove the right splash panel using the quarter turn fasteners. To access the air filter, pull back the orange plunger. Then slightly rotate this counterclockwise and pull off the cap. The CAT utility vehicle has two air filters, a primary and a secondary air filter. The first one you see when you remove the cap is the primary air filter. The primary air filter pulls straight out from the air filter canister housing. To determine if your air filter needs replacement, hold it up and look into the bore of the air filter. If there is no light coming through, then the filter needs replacing. Also be sure to check for excess dust buildup on the air filter. The inner air filter also pulls straight out. Repeat the same process with the inner air filter. This filter is the last line of defense for the engine, so it is important that it is undamaged. To reinstall both air filters, simply press them back into the rubber mounts within the air filter canister. Put the cap back and rotate it into place. Depress the orange plunger to lock. Always change the engine oil and oil filter at the scheduled intervals. Before you start, be sure the engine is warm to ensure the oil will drain easily and completely. Remove the maintenance cover, which is located underneath the middle rear seat. Tilt the cargo box to the dump position and loosen the oil fill cap. Be careful not to allow contaminants to enter the opening. Remove the drain plug from the bottom of the engine and drain the oil into a drain pan. Using the oil filter wrench and ratchet handle, or a socket or box end wrench, remove the old oil filter and dispose of properly. Capture the oil in a suitable pan or absorbent material. Do not reuse the oil filter. Apply oil to the new filter O-ring and check to make sure it is positioned correctly. Then install the new oil filter. Tighten securely. Install the engine drain plug and tighten to 36.9 foot-pounds for gas variants and 29.5 foot-pounds for diesel variants. Pour the recommended oil into the filler hole. Install the oil fill cap. Locate the oil dipstick. Remove the dipstick and wipe it with a clean cloth. Install the dipstick, ensuring that it is fully seated. Remove the oil dipstick and ensure that the oil level is within operating range. Inspect the area around the drain plug and oil filter for leaks. Install the maintenance cover. Check to make sure the oil cap is secure. The clearance between the brake pads and the brake discs is adjusted automatically as the brake pads wear. The only maintenance that is required is replacement of the brake pads when they show excessive wear. Check the thickness of each brake pad as follows. For easier access, remove the wheel corresponding to the brake being checked. Measure the thickness of each brake pad. If the thickness of either brake pad friction material is less than 0.5 millimeters, the brake pads must be replaced. The brake pads should be replaced as a set. It is recommended to have your participating UTV CAT dealer perform this task. The battery can be found behind the splash panel on the rear passenger side of the vehicle. Remember to ensure the vehicle key is in the off position before starting any work. To remove the battery, remove the quarter turn fastener holding the battery in place. Disconnect the negative cable from the battery first, ensuring that it does not contact any metal after removal. Disconnect the positive cable from the battery and pull the battery out. To clean the battery, utilize a wire brush to clean debris from the battery terminals. Clean with baking soda and a water solution mix. Rinse with water and dry with shop towels. Never use a pressure washer, water from a hose, or other low-pressure method to flood water over the neutralized battery's surface. When replacing the battery, connect the positive cable first, then the negative cable. The spark arrestor is found in the rear of the machine attached to the muffler. To clean the spark arrestor, find the cap screw that secures it to the muffler. Remove the cap screw. Pull the spark arrestor off of the muffler. Check the screen for any damages. If it is damaged in any way, the spark arrestor must be replaced. Using a suitable brush, clean the carbon deposits from the screen, taking care not to damage the screen. Place the spark arrestor assembly back onto the muffler while making sure to line up the holes for the cap screw. Take the cap screw and hand tighten into place. Be sure to tighten to 60 inch-pounds. Proper servicing of the drive and driven clutch is recommended to be performed by a participating UTV CAT dealer. With the vehicle in park, use a jack to lift the vehicle and then secure the vehicle on support stands. Using a wrench on the flat spot of the sway bar link, remove the upper and lower sway bar link lock nut. Remove the 4 sway bar link bushings. Repeat for the other side. Position the new sway bar link into the upper A-arms with 4 bushings as shown. Install the new sway bar link lock nuts. Tighten so that there are 2 to 3 threads exposed on the upper sway bar link and 5 to 6 threads exposed on the lower sway bar link. Repeat for the other side. Remove the vehicle from the secure support stand. The CVT can be found behind the splash panel in front of the rear left tire. To access, remove the 6 clips holding the CVT cover in place. There are marks on the cover showing each clip's location. Remove the yellow worm clamp and pull the hose and cover off. Align the driven clutch at the 12 o'clock position. Note that the clutch retention tool is recommended for easier servicing. Next, take the large pry bar and insert it into the hole and push upwards. Once the belt is loose, reach down and pull the belt off the clutch. When putting on the new belt, ensure that the arrows are pointing forward, as this is the direction of the belt. Start with putting the belt around the drive clutch and placing it on the driven clutch. Use the pry bar again to put the belt around the driven clutch. Spin the driven clutch and let it tighten itself back up. Replace the CVT cover, clips, and panel. The CVT can be found behind the splash panel located in front of the rear left tire. First, locate all 6 clips that hold the cover in place. The CVT cover has 6 raised lines, shown here, that indicate the general location of each clip. Remove the clips holding the CVT cover. Unscrew the yellow worm clamp. Remove the CVT Air Inlet hose. Clean the inside of the hose and plastic tube with a clean rag and inspect for debris buildup. Replace the cover and hose. Tighten the worm clamp. Reinstall all the clips for the cover. Inspect all lug nuts to ensure they have not loosened. There are 4 on each wheel. All lug nuts should be torqued to 100 foot-pounds. Unscrew the valve cover on top of the gas engine. Remove the valve cover from the engine before removing the spark plugs. Be sure to clean the surrounding area. Remove the black electrical connector. Use an extension and spark plug socket to loosen the spark plug. Remove the spark plug. The insulator should be a light brown color. A white or dark insulator indicates that the engine may need to be serviced. Adjust the new spark plug to ensure a 1 mm gap plus or minus 0.1 mm. Use a feeler gauge to check the gap. Reinstall the new spark plug. Tighten the spark plug to 14.75 foot-pounds. Push the black electrical connector back into place. Repeat this process for the remaining spark plugs, then replace the valve cover and tighten into place. In order to check the clutch engagement, start your machine on flat ground and put it in high gear. Ensure the dash display is reading the machine's RPMs. Take your foot off the brake and slowly press the accelerator until the machine begins to move forward. Watch the RPMs while doing this process and record at what RPM the machine begins to move forward. The gas models should start moving somewhere between 1200 and 1300 RPMs, while the diesel models should be between 1500 and 1600 RPMs. Servicing of the clutch system may be required if the engagement is no longer within this spec. With the vehicle in park, use a jack to lift the vehicle and then secure the vehicle on support stands. Remove the upper and lower mounting cap screws and lock nuts. Discard the lock nuts. Remove the shock absorber assembly. Do not attempt to remove or reinstall the spring without a suitable spring compressor. It is recommended to have a participating UTV CAT dealer perform these steps, as severe injury could result if not performed properly. Clean all shock absorber components in parts cleaning solvent. Inspect each shock rod for damage or oily residue. Inspect all other components for damage or leaks. Once the spring has been reinstalled, reinstall the shock absorber assembly onto the vehicle using the 2 cap screws and the new lock nuts. Tighten to 45 foot-pounds. Remove the vehicle from the support stand. The alternator belt, also known as the serpentine belt on the gas models, is located on the right side of the vehicle behind the air filter. Before doing any work on the alternator, First, disconnect the negative battery cable. In order to remove the belt, first loosen the two alternator mounting cap bolts. Their location can be seen here for the diesel models, and here for the gas models. Proceed to remove the belt. To replace the alternator belt for the diesel models, install the new alternator belt, then tighten so that 22 pounds of force at the belt midpoint results in 0.4 to 0.6 inches of deflection. Then tighten the mounting cap screws securely. You may need to use a screwdriver or probe to assist with the installation of the belt. For the gas models, install the serpentine belt and tighten by prying the alternator in the direction of the arrow so that with a good pull on the belt, it does not spin on the pulley or make noise. Then tighten the alternator mounting bolts securely. Reconnect the negative battery cable to the negative post on the battery. The diesel-powered CAT UTVs are equipped with a high-efficiency fuel filter that can be found behind the splash guard in front of the rear left tire. Using an appropriate filter wrench, loosen the fuel filter. Then, using your hands, unscrew and remove the fuel filter. Be sure to have a pan ready to catch any fuel that leaks. Discard the old filter. Before installing the new fuel filter, apply a light coat of oil to its seal ring. Then install the new filter. Tighten the filter until the seal contacts the head, then tighten an additional 3/4 turn. Next, cycle the key switch to run 2 complete cycles. Run, off, run, off. This will charge the fuel filter and purge any air from the system. Lastly, check for any fuel leaks. Then start the engine and check for normal engine operation. Inspect both rear wheel knuckle bushings for damage. To replace the bushing, it is recommended to take the vehicle to a participating UTV CAT dealer. The radiator is located at the front of the machine directly behind the grill. To clean the radiator, flush with water to remove any contaminants. It is not recommended to use a pressure washer, as this could cause damage to the fins or electrical components nearby. After cleaning, inspect for leaks and damage. Inspect all hoses for cracks and deterioration. Inspect all fasteners and grommets for damage or wear. Proper servicing of brake and coolant lines may require special instruments. If cracks, abrasions, or tears are noted during visual inspection, please visit your participating UTV CAT dealer for support. Remove the right splash panel using the quarter-turn fasteners. To access the air filter, pull back the orange plunger. Then slightly rotate this counterclockwise and pull off the cap. The CAT utility vehicle has 2 air filters, a primary and a secondary air filter. The first one you see when you remove the cap is the primary air filter. The primary air filter pulls straight out from the air filter canister housing. To determine if your air filter needs replacement, hold it up and look into the bore of the air filter. If there is no light coming through, then the filter needs replacing. Also be sure to check for excess dust buildup on the air filter. The inner air filter also pulls straight out. Repeat the same process with the inner air filter. This filter is the last line of defense for the engine, so it is important that it is undamaged. To reinstall both air filters, simply press them back into the rubber mounts within the air filter canister. Put the cap back and rotate it into place. Depress the orange plunger to lock. The air filter intake can be found behind the splash panel located in front of the right side rear tire. Loosen the clamps on both ends of the air filter intake hose. Remove the hose. With a clean rag, wipe down both ends of the hose. Then wipe down the hose connection points. Replace the hose and tighten the clamps to specifications. Lastly, remove the air filter housing cap and outer air filter. Wipe down the inside of the air filter housing. Now you are ready to change the rear transaxle fluid. First, remove the fill plug. Drain the fluid into a drain pan by removing the drain plug. After the fluid has been drained, install the drain plug and tighten to 16 foot-pounds. Use a fluid transfer pump to pour the recommended quantity and type of fluid into the fill hole until it reaches the bottom of the hole. Install the fill plug and tighten to 16 foot-pounds. Now you are ready to change the front differential fluid. First, remove the fill plug and fill inspection plug. Drain the fluid into a drain pan by removing the drain plug. After the oil has been drained, install the drain plug and tighten to 45 foot-pounds. Use a fluid transfer pump to pour the recommended quantity and type of fluid into the fill hole until it is level with the lubricant inspection plug. Install the fill plug and tighten to 16 foot-pounds. Install the front differential lubricant inspection plug. Proper servicing of valve lash clearance requires a number of special instruments, special training, and an extremely clean environment. Therefore, it is recommended for valve lash clearance to be performed by a participating UTV CAT dealer. Proper servicing of fuel injection components requires a number of special instruments, special training, and an extremely clean environment. Therefore, it is recommended for injector service to be performed by a participating UTV CAT dealer.